Hello, I'm Kirk Brodos. I'm a Google certified educator at Del Sur. Technology is a huge part of my classroom. I enjoy allowing my students to be creative, critical thinkers who inquire into topics online. Using Google platforms allows for my students to work independently, creatively, and collaboratively, something that is needed in the environment we're in for sure. Michelle Hobbs will be presenting in this session as well. She's in her 24th year teaching at Morning Creek, who always is looking to learn more about the integration of technology in her classroom. We hope they'll be provided with some information that you did not know about. There are numerous apps that are available in Google Suite that you can be used for independent and collaborative learning. Today, we'll be sharing with you information about Google Slides and Google Drawing and how you can use those in your classroom with your students in the challenging learning environment that we're all facing. All these apps can integrate with Canvas if you're inclined to do this. Integrating them allows the students to use one platform to find and complete assignments. Using the integration also makes it easier for us teachers to grade work in one place. The first platform that I'll be talking about and providing ideas is Google Slides. Using Google Slides for visible learning. This platform enables teachers to see the effects of what they do in the classroom so they can increase their impact and make a real difference in their students. Visible teaching and learning occurs when teachers see learning through the eyes of the students and help them become their own teachers. Google Slides allows you to do this. In my classroom as a VLA teacher, I provide open-ended questions on slides that I then share out in chat on Zoom to all the students. Students are then sent to breakout rooms with the directions to go onto the slide that their breakout room number is. Once the students are in their rooms that you can see by the icons on their slides, you send out a chat message to everyone to begin work. Each slide will have the same questions on them. This allows me to circulate the breakout rooms and facilitate the discussions that are happening. Using this method of grid view on slides allows me to see what is going on in all the breakout rooms at once. It's very similar to being in a real classroom where you're walking around, but you're using the slide deck to see it. It makes it really easy to use. Providing open-ended questions is just one way of using this visible form of learning. Math problems, book clubs, any activity that involves collaboration can use this platform on Google Slides. Students can send you messages on chat asking you any questions they might have. So you might be asking, well, how should I get my class started collaborating on Google Slides for visible learning? There's an activity, a great activity. It's called Who's in the Room. It's a great way to start teaching students to work on their slides with everyone is on one slide deck. What this activity does, it prepares students for the collaborative or independent work they'll be doing throughout the year in a visible learning method. And so we see this. It teaches them to work in one slide deck together at the same time. It prepares them to understand what they're doing on the slides when there's more than one student working on it at once. So the way to do this activity is you create a slide for every one of your students before they start writing on it. It'll be chaotic the first time you do this, I promise you. But the time you save by having the slides prepared is essential, even with the chaos that's going to come about. An easy way to eliminate this chaos is to send your students to the slide number that correlates with their breakout rooms. If they're working collaboratively, or to a slide that their student number is on if you provide them with student numbers. You can also rename the breakout rooms with individual students' names and say that's the ones that you're going to on the slides. Using grid view is the great way to see this. It allows you to see everyone in one place. You can go from room to room on one thing on your screen and see what's going on in each of the breakout rooms. So an example of using visual learning activity with your students. I've included the slide deck as an attachment to this presentation. Within it, it has directions on how to set up your visual learning for any subject you would like your students to complete. You just need to think outside the box of what would work for you and your students. So on this, it explains how you go on to the slide deck and look at it in grid view. Okay? Grid view is very, very essential in this. Your life is going to be completely different when you do this with grid view because you can see everyone, it shows us on this slide, everyone at once in one platform instead of having to jump around and sliding up and down on the side of your slide deck. Okay. So you can have different things with this, with visible learning roles. You can have note takers. You can have speakers. You can have an inquirer. You can have anything you want to do on this as long as you provide them what they need to do first when you send them in. You can send all this information to them in chat and they'll be able to see it without a problem and should be able to follow it. And again, you can see who is working and doing what by using the grid view. You can see who is typing. You can see who is contributing because they're all typing at once and you can see it. So this activity can be used with any topic. I'd use it with reading groups, collaborative math problems, science and social studies activities, where you want to have the students discussing topics. It's tremendous for you as a teacher to be able to see the work of students in small groups all at once. You can then go into the breakout rooms and discuss what the students have been discussing virtually. It's one of the best things that I found with Google Slides to do. So let me show you some examples of what it might look like with our slide decks. Okay, this is one template that can be used. I'll attach this to the presentation for your use and you'll be able to see it. So what you do is you just have to put their name on it. You put what they'll start typing on here with their notes that they're discussing. You have your question on the top and you have the notes that they're going to be talking about. But you know who's on each slide. And when you're looking at this on grid view, you can see them all at once. It's really, really good. Here's another template that you can use. It's also very easy to create your own slide deck to use for your collaborative discussions. You don't need to use these or purchase these templates. It's as simple as making a number of slides that you want your kids to go to. You can put the backgrounds, you can put anything you want in them as long as you're comfortable with creating slides. So this one here has discussion notes, questions, and next steps you do. They can type in the facilitator, recorder, speaker, timekeeper. So it's not too difficult for them to follow these directions. The first thing I would do, though, is I would walk them through this process while you show them what to do. So using slides can also be used as an interactive location for students to obtain information from and demonstrate their understanding. So I'm going to show you something I found next. If we look at this slide, it shows a third grade benchmark unit on innovation. If you look at the slide, it has all kinds of great ideas on this page. Links are embedded to programs you would want your students to use, like ThingLink, Google Docs, some with hyperdocs to pages and videos. It also has links to pages within the slide deck, so they can go from one to the other within their slide deck. On these pages, there are activities for the students to complete, so you can have them going from one to the other and they can complete it. The one on here that I really like is ThingLink. I'm not sure if people know that, but it's a great platform. It's a very visual platform that students can get onto and see. I would definitely suggest looking up ThingLink to see. There's also on this page, there's directions and tutorials that are embedded on the page for students to view and learn. So they can go back, you can make your video, they can go back, and you can have it embedded on the slide. They can go back to this page and they can see. So here's an example. If you look at this one, there's a slide on there with the video embedded up on the side here. Okay. All you have to do that is you go to Start to embed the videos. You go to Insert for the videos. And you can insert a video that's either a YouTube, a URL, or a video that you've uploaded from your Google Drive. I have placed videos that I have created on my own drive for access via a link on a slide or on Canvas. The other item that's excellent on this is the use of Google Draw to make a timeline. And there on the slides, they have ways to do this. They explain how to do it. Okay.
Hello students, I am going to show you how to get started on your...
Okay, so when you go to that, you can set it up for your students to have the videos starting right away. So if we look at this, it talks about having everything on one page, a virtual room. Okay. You're creating this on this the same way as if you've changed your backgrounds on Canvas and you've used a Bitmoji background or something. It's the exact same thing. Okay, so you're making this room on your slide, and you can have, actually, I want you to have your kids making their own virtual room. And again, you hyperlink different things onto it for them to know what they need to be doing.
This video tutorial.
This is another one that is a great slide that this person put on here. It's about the choice activities from the one benchmark, innovation creation activities from the one benchmark unit. So what it has is it has a digital book, maker creation, and scratch coding all embedded within the slide. So when the student clicks on that link, it'll take them to a different page outside of the Google slide or another slide within your presentation. You can set up any way you want and they can link to it. And they can always come back on the side here to the main page.
For the last innovation creation, I want to give you some choice in what you want to.
Okay, so the videos are embedded on there. The kids get it. You can have it activate automatically when they open the page, or they can click on it to work. Because you've embedded in here, it should play without having to worry about it being screened out by Canvas or by the district filters. So this is a great way to do another use of Google Slides, making these interactive platforms. And you can put these on your Canvas page without a problem. It's not too hard to difficult to do that. The same way you import your backgrounds for your home page. The next app I would like to start talking about is Google Drawings. It's another great app for your students to use. I came across a tremendous program that has people know it is. Okay, it's created by Matt Bergman. It's explaining how to use Google Drawings and share content to demonstrate understanding. It's really a great platform, great thing to use. So if we look at this, it says, how do you access Google Drawing? Because I don't think a lot of people use Google Drawing that much. So to do that, you go on to New, you go down to More, and then you choose Drawings. Okay, let's take a look at this. We'll just watch this video again. So New, go down to More, and it says Drawings. There's a lot of really good apps to use if you go down to More and just look at them. Okay, it's all off of Google Drive. So how does it work? Well, if I'm going to use Google Drawings, I'm going to be able to do whatever I want on it. I just have to put things. I can drag things on there. I can draw on the Canvas page there or on the pages here. I can convert it to JPEGs and then put it into my other files I want to use. So it's a really good app that a lot of people are not really familiar with but should be using. Okay? So you can organize your slides on here, organize your graphic organizers on here. Use graphic organizers. You can create them, and as long as you put text boxes in there, they can type things on there. I've been using it this year. I make a graphic organizer right on that, and they can type right onto it. It's no paper needed for these things. It's really, really good. You can also use it to make Venn diagrams, right? You can put in what you want them to do. You put a little text box in there, and they can type into it. You can set it up so anything is on the top, and you just put a text box underneath it. And when you put this onto your page, they can see it. It comes onto theirs alone. So if you're integrating with Canvas, you can have them just go onto it, and everyone will have their own page. Another great one that you can use for Google Drawing is interactive worksheets. You can have the students drag over pictures. This is something that you can't really do in Google Slides. You have them drag over the pictures and put them in the boxes. So anything you want to do for the younger grades, they can grab and drag it over. They can put it right in. It's a great activity for people to use. You don't have to only use it with season swords. You can use whatever you want. You make the box, then you have them drag the pictures or the words even that you want to use. You can have it so you make a protractor. So they have to measure angles. They just drag it right over, and they can put it on there to measure. This is, again, as if something that they don't have because we're learning virtually. If they don't have a protractor or haven't bought one, and you want them to do this, you can have them do it on there without a problem. The next one that you can do is you can make any kind of collaborative activity or any kind of way that you want them to do an organizer for something. This one's organizing for state or country. It wants to know the symbols of it, the goods and service, natural resources, the history. You've put underneath it, you have them fill in the boxes, and they just write on there. It's just a nice organizer. It's very simple. It's a nice organizer. You can also use it for infographics, which I'm a really big fan of. Infographics. You have them put a different icon in there. It's important that they always go on to, when they're inserting their icons or inserting their pictures, they have to use pictures they find on Google, because then make sure it fits on there. And using Google Drawing, it's very easy. You put one text box, they can put all the icons in there they want to do. Another great one is to explain complex concepts. If we look at this, it talks about how rain forms. So we see it's very, very simple of what we've shown. Students can make these very easily by putting a picture on the back, adding some images with it, and putting a cycle on there. Okay, here's another one where you can see it looks like how a moth or a butterfly becomes a butterfly. So we can see it's very simple. You have a slide, then it goes to another slide showing a different picture, down to another slide, down to another slide. So it shows us the life cycle of the butterfly. You can use it to label images. If you have them, you want to label some images. So what you do, again, you're at Google Drawings, you start it, and let me show you what you see on this next page. So we know how to access Google Drawings. Just want to make sure we all remember this, because it doesn't show on your first three there when you go to New. It's under More in Google Drawings. Okay. So if we look at this page, you can have the students label pictures that you put on there. If you want to have them work on putting things on labels on anything. It can be anything. It can be anything you want to do. This can be used in kindergarten. This can be used in 5th grade. You just have to have the things put onto it. You put the icons on there and put a text box, and they will put in it. So I see transparent, sharp, skinny, shiny, smooth. Okay. The next one you can also do on this is visuals and drawings. We have our fractions chart here. You can have them come on that. You can have it for them. They don't have to have it as a piece of paper, because we're learning virtually. They have it right there. They can't say they lost it because it's right there. It's not a problem with that. Okay. The next one we can do is we will talk about using Trusses, or seeing what it is. There's links to all these presentations. So when I share this to you, you can find links to all these different ones. So you can look at the angles and the measurement. This goes with our protractor. It's not showing there, but it lets you see that, and it shows our different angles on the side. These are all these creative ways to use Google Drawing. Okay? You can make timelines, which are really great because they can put images on them. They can put words on there. It's much easier to do this on Google Drawing than on Google Slides, because it's one simple page instead of Google Slides where they might jump around and jump around. Depending on what you want to accomplish with your students, Google Drawings is a much better platform than Google Slides. Okay, so other big ideas. You can make digital badges, seating charts, classroom posters, memes, collages, comic strips, interactive graphics with hyperlinks. So you can put all those different things on your Google Drawing. It's, once the kids get started using all the Google tools, whether it's slides or drawing, they'll become very familiar with it. And many times they're more familiar with it than the teachers, for sure. I have students who in the past have figured out how to do more things than me on Google. It's great. I start learning from them. So we're both learning. So I came across some really great resources that you can use in the classroom for these different things. The one is Ditch That Textbook. It talks about Google Slides. There's all kinds of activities that you can use for that. It has all kinds of different activities you can use with your students for that. Another one is using Google Drawing. It's a bit.ly googledrawings.app. It tells you exactly how to use different parts of it. You go through it. You can have your students complete it. It's really, really good. It's interactive, and the students can work their way through that slide deck, or the drawing. Okay. There's another site that I came across with more searchable information on slides and draw. It's Tech Tips 411. Okay, you can find all kinds of great things on on that person's website. And there's a great video I came across on Google Slide Activities. It's right here. It's on YouTube. And I'll share the slide deck with you. We can't see it right now because I don't want to have to just click on it myself. You'll have that link. And then another great one is, I don't know if people know about Slides Mania. That'll provide you with all kinds of different backgrounds for your different slides. Maybe you're looking for a certain type of background for something you're creating. If you go to Slides Mania, you can find a lot of different backgrounds for that that'll really help you making your slide decks really colorful and really cool looking and very attractive to the students' eyes. The one thing that I would suggest that we do is Twitter, is to get onto Twitter. I know that's a big thing right now. People say, oh, Twitter, I got to do this on Twitter, I got to do that on Twitter. But if you just sign up, you don't have to post anything. You can just search for things, right? You go on to and you search for people, and you can just type in anything. So I put down finding great ideas on how to use Google Slides and Google Drawing. You can come across all these great templates to do and all these great things if you use Twitter to find that. So that is all that I have for you on Google Slides and Google Drawing. If you have any questions, my email will be linked. I would definitely suggest that you watch the videos when you get the slide deck. This will be on there as well. Okay? Take a look at these different websites that I've said. But Google Slides and Google Drawing is a great way to have your students work, especially the breakout rooms and using Google Slides to work collaboratively so you can see what everyone is doing. If you have any questions, just send me an email. My email will be attached. I'll be happy to help anyone out that needs any help.
Hi, everyone, and welcome for the Google Slides Part 2. My name is Michelle Hobbs, and I teach second grade over at Morning Creek. I've been there for 24 years, and I've taught everything from second all the way up to fifth. Truly is my home. My family is where I started student teaching and got hired on and have been there ever since. I teach second grade this year. I am a VLA teacher and in the trenches with all of you. This unusual year has been quite interesting to create and design and rethink how we are teaching. So for me, I am no expert. I am definitely learning right there along with you. And when I was told I was going to be doing this presentation, I freaked out a little bit. So I don't consider myself an expert at all, but I'm learning right along with you. And I just wanted to share some things that I've learned since I started doing this. I have our essential question up, which is how might we purposefully integrate technology to enhance student learning? And that enhanced student learning was the really important part to me. I wanted to make it something that was going to make it more interesting for them. My students, I don't want them bored on the computer. I want them doing things that's going to be valuable. So with that being said, this was the first thing that came to my mind. A few months back, I was just scrolling through the internet and I happened upon this site, and the site's called ControlAlt Achieve. This gentleman has blogged and it goes all the way back to 2015. I happened to find this one in 2016, and what it is just a template for a storybook. And so the storybook, he has a sample that I just took the link off of the page. And then this is the link to that website if you wanted to explore and see what else he may have on there as well. What it does is it gives the students the option to have a title page on the side or at the bottom. I tell them pick one, delete the other, and then it gives them just the template to be able to type at different spots. I explain to them how to be able to copy those slides and be able to create new ones so that they don't have to make new text boxes. They just get to copy the one that they have. And then at the end, it has a little about the author, so they can put in their information about them and tell a little blurb. And we talk about how authors do that with their stories. So it's kind of a fun little way to get them to be able to pick one of their favorite stories and do that. What we did is in December, we did a little baker elf story or elf story, and it was their opinion writing of which elf job they thought they would do best. The jobs were brainstormed. So there was like bodyguards and bakers and art elf and wrapping elf. And so they would be the ones that wrapped it, a toy testing elf. So we came up with a whole bunch of really creative ones. And then they picked which one they thought they had the best skills for and gave reasons why. When I did this one, I explained to them how to insert the picture. So insert an image, and we searched the web for different images. And so that was allowing them to be able to have that creativity, to be able to find new things and match it with what their words were on that paper. I also showed them a little example. I have a little piece down here that I had cut out of this. And so you can kind of see how they don't line up exactly. But I talked to them how I could extend my path down, doing a little bit of that of creativity. I really wanted my students to be able to record their voices. And I struggled because none of the voice recorders that I found were really easy to use. So when I was talking to Lauren and Amy, they told me about Moat, a game changer, guys. This was amazing, and I can't wait to use it with my students because I just found out about it this past couple of weeks. We've worked with the district. It is now on the approved list. So hopefully, if your students have an updated school Chromebook, it should be able to be installed very easily, and it's just right in their account. It is only used in Google Docs, Google Slides, and I believe Google Draw. I haven't checked that one to see. I don't use Google Draw as often. But it looks like this. It's called Moat, and I have the link in our resource page. When you click on this, what it does is it opens up the recording, and then you can click on the center, and it allows you to record whatever it is that you want to be recording. So the students would read what they have in the background here. Now, for me, I was struggling because I can't move this. So it is stuck where it is. So I had a little kind of wraparound for it, but I'm still looking for better ideas for the kids. When they click the center, it thinks about it, and then it gets it ready for putting it in. The students can listen to it again, or they can just insert it. When you click the insert, I don't want that one in there, it comes up as this little purple dot, and when you hover over it, it gives you the ability to listen to what was recorded. It's that easy. The students in second grade, I think first grade as well, easily could do it. Kindergarten, I think they could do it as well. It just would need a little bit more teaching part of it. Maybe now at this point of the year, they're ready for it. So we were able to, I recorded on mine. When I couldn't see because the words were behind, what I would do is I would just click on here and have it to where they're back here, or they need to have it on a piece of paper. So they're maybe original writing before they typed it, they would read from. So that was those. My student examples, some used the same background. This one did it as she was the elf work, and so she did a little story, but she also talked about how the assistant and what skills she would have. And so she went online and she found some cute little pictures and had those in there. And then this little guy wanted to be Santa's bodyguard. I thought this picture was hilarious. He was able to get mom and dad to approve doing a Bitmoji. And so he has his Bitmoji in here as well. And my other one is by this one. She did another Bitmoji, but this one wasn't a class Bitmoji. And I will look for you guys and put it in our resources. I did class Bitmojis. The students could make their own. And the students, it's a more safe way where you're not going to have some of those inappropriate things coming up that Bitmoji would have. And so this one was more student friendly. So she did one of those. More creative as well because she wanted to be the art elf. Now, these slides do go up into higher level thinking. While they're adding in that Moat extension, being able to record on there, they're adding to the appeal of it all, being able to get the higher level thinking of now I'm needing to process what I did right. Does it make sense? They're going through that process of it as well. So that augmentation is going through their minds and being able to have that higher level thinking. If you created a book that was more of a collaborative book, now you're going into that creativity. That group is working on that collaboration, being able to work together. Also, as we've talked about before, these are live. So as the students are working, you can go in and look and see and be able to give them that real-time feedback. So they have immediate feedback as you're going through working on it with them. Even when we are in two separate houses and not working in the same classroom. So there's a lot to these slides that actually are that higher level thinking that we're looking for our students. Another activity that I have to share is being able to add in that math time to your calendar. So this was shared with me. It's a first grade one, but definitely appropriate for kindergarten and maybe even up to second grade for some of them. And so what it is you would take and put the month in here, adjust your numbers, and then be able to do, okay, what day is today, and be able to show the students on there. There's different ones, yesterday, today, tomorrow, talking about the days of the week. It's got the weather that is in there, different seasons, days of school count. I kind of have missed that one. Days of school, again, a different way. It's also got it to where you have your skip around charts, being able to do the hundreds chart. So there's lots of different ones in here, and you'll get a copy of this in the resources if you'd like. And finally, I have a template that a colleague at school shared with me. I kind of reached out and said, what are you guys doing with Google Slides? Do you guys have anything that you've done? This was one that was shared with me, a real simple one. They were doing, I believe, Island of the Blue Dolphins. And so they are looking at some of the vocabulary. And this one is, you make the copy. So when you go in Canvas and assign it, or Google Slides or Google Classroom and assign it, then you make sure you do a copy for each student. And then what they do is they just put the word in here, the definition, using the word in their own sentence, a synonym, and then they get to find a picture that illustrates that meaning of that word. So getting a little more creative with that. And there's 2 different pages that they can do with those 4 words that they would have. So you'll get a copy of that as well. One thing as a teacher that I was always looking for was, where do you get these ideas? Where do you find it? I'm not creative enough to be able to make this stuff up on my own, and I don't have the time, frankly, this year at all. So some sites that were shared with me was one which was Teacher Tech by Alice Keeler. So I'll send you guys with the things so you'll have the ability to go in, look and see what she has on her blog. She has a lot. The one that I had before, the ControlAlt Achieve. And then another one that I didn't even really think of was Twitter. I don't use Twitter, but when you go on searching hashtag Google Slides, I did hashtag Google Slides, and I included the hashtag SMAR for the SAMR model, and a few things did pop up. You can search by the grade level and things like that. So Facebook is a great source for it. There's a lot of teachers that share on there, as well as on Instagram. So there's a lot of social media that you guys can look through and find. And it is just finding those things and then sharing it with your colleagues. I hope that you guys got a little bit out of here. I hope there's something that you can walk away with and use. And I appreciate all of you guys. What you're doing this year is amazing, and we will get through this. All right, guys, have a great day. Come on over to our Zoom if you have any questions, and we'd be happy to answer them.